It's my pleasure to introduce to you at this time Mr. Benjamin Bebe Winans. Welcome to Life Radio UK.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much indeed. We're speaking today because on September 16th, along with your brother Marvin L. Winans and friends Karen Clark Sheard and Donnie McCurkin, plus London Community Gospel Choir, you'll be celebrating your 60th birthday.
Can you believe that?
Oh, that's my next point. Can you believe that? Did you ever see 60 when you were in your teens?
I earned this gray beard. You know what? It's funny how time really does fly.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear that when you're a teenager, you don't think that's true because you want to get out your father's house. You want to be real grown, and then you learn being grown is responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to my dad's house. But no, it seems like it snuck up on me, but I am so grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I have my health and my strength. So I am excited, and I'm excited, as you stated, to come share this milestone with you all in London, with some great friends and family and some friends you don't know who are coming. Mm-hmm. I'll share another friend who's going to be there, Mr. Vashawn Mitchell. Is going to be there as well. So there's more to come.
You know, you could have done this any city in the world, Bebe. Yes. You could have gone anywhere. Why London? I'm glad you're coming to London.
There was only two locations that I thought I had to really wrestle, and that was South Africa and that was London. Mm-hmm. The two places when I first came, just for some reason became part of my heart. And London is one of those places. One of the things, and there's so many memories and friends with just the personal and as well as the music journey as well. But one of those moments that I fell in love with London is when me and my sister first came, and it was our first concert there. And we struck into one of the songs, the music started playing. And before I could get out two words, the London audience was singing, they sang the whole song to me and my sister. And we would look at each other and say, what's going on here? I mean, we didn't sing the song. And that was the moment I fell in love with London. I try to become British when I come, but I fail all the time.
Bebe, as you look back over 60 years, can you point out a couple of significant milestones or turning points in your life or your career you could talk to us about?
Yes. I mean, one of the moments that I have a Broadway show that I wrote, and it's about the musical journey, because people didn't know that me and my sister was part of the PTL Singers. That's Jim Baker and Tammy Faye Baker, a white Christian evangelical television show. And it was because of him that me and Cece became a duet. We were not a duet, but he came to rehearsal one day and said, I heard this song and I hear you and Cece singing it as a duet. We did that, and our lives start to go like this. And that was the moment that we looked at each other and said, we're supposed to be a duet. Okay. Now, that was difficult because we had to go back home to Detroit and tell the other one family member and two other friends that we were no longer a group, that me and Cece understood that we were supposed to be a duet. We were called the Winans Part 2. You had the Winans, which were my older brothers.
Yes.
We were called the Winans Part 2. That was Vicky, Marvy Wright, my brother Daniel, and me and Cece. It was five of us. So we had to go home and dismiss them.
Oh, boy.
Tell them to get a 9 to 5.
How did that go down?
That didn't go down well at all, because my father, he used to always tell us, and we believed that, but understood there was a calling that happened that we didn't expect. Me and my sister didn't expect. But, he told us to stick together. We each other's, fan and support and this and that. So it was difficult. There were tears. There was, very emotional, because it was hard to say, this is no longer going to be, even though we thought it was. But God had another plan. And when that happened, it's hard.
Mm. By the same token, I'm sure there have been some times over the years that have challenged you.
People think that when you know God, that there is no challenge.
Mm.
That is so wrong. You know, divorce was a very, very challenging time in my life. Didn't plan for that. But I found that God is faithful in that. I didn't know my brother was going to pass, my favorite brother. I remember being at the hospital saying, God, okay, if you have to take a Winans, I'll give you two of my brothers. You can take, but don't take him. But God took him.
Mm.
What a challenge to understand that God knows more than what I know, but that he still loves me, even though my prayer wasn't answered the way I wanted the answer. So challenges do happen, but what we understand, I've learned the definition of tests. And that was when my brother passed away and my father passed away. Tests come not to make you feel bad, but they come to make you strong. And so now every challenge that I meet, I understand I'm becoming strong.
I'm talking here to Mr. Bebe Winans, who's coming to the UK on the 16th of September to celebrate his 60th birthday with his brother Marvin Winans and his Karen Clark Sheard, Donnie McCurkin, London Community Gospel Choir, and also Vashon Mitchell as well as a special guest. And there might be more. So folks, we want to encourage you to keep that date in mind. Without giving away too much, what sort of things can I expect when I turn up on the night?
You're not going to have the typical regular concert.
Right.
Where certain people come out and they do a whole bunch of things. You're going to find out why I invited certain people to be a part of my celebration. And so you're going to, sometimes it's expected sometimes to have a facade, that professional presentation. You're going to have an incredible line of songs but you're going to have conversation. You'll find out more about me than you know about me. You're going to find out more about Karen than you know about Karen, of the Clark sisters, of that family. And so you're going to have a camaraderie that you've never experienced before from the stage, along with incredible music, along with incredible presentation. And we come there with the joy of the Lord, which is so important in the time that we live in. We're coming in with some good news.
Bebe, as I listen to your lyrics over the years, and many people have commented on this as well, they are very Christ-centered, but of a crossover vibe to them. Was that a deliberate strategy of yours, trying to reach people regardless of faith or no faith?
I wish I was that intelligent. But I take no credit for what happened with our music. Okay. What I was bold enough to do was to tell what God meant to me in every aspect of my life, my personal life, my professional life, my life of triumph, my life of defeat, my life through the good and the bad. I was bold enough to wrap that up in the style that I enjoy. Andre Crouch was a hero of my family. It's the only thing that my father would allow in our house was gospel music. So when Andre became, the musician that he was our hero. So I wanted to write songs like Andre wrote, and my brother Marvin, he was an incredible writer. And so knowing that before it was heard on radio or anywhere, I knew that there would be some misunderstanding about my style, why I wrote the way I wrote, which was okay because I already knew who I was writing about. My father say, and it's important, it's so important that I give kudos to my mom and dad and how they raised me and raised us. But my father said, you're going to know who you are before you leave here. So when you go out into the world and they tell you who you are, you won't believe them, because you already know who you are.
Mm.
And so we knew that God would take our music and take it where he wanted to go.
I'm talking here to Mr. Bebe Winans, who's coming to the UK on the 16th of September to celebrate his 60th birthday. I want to turn now to an event that literally shook the world when in February 2012, the light from one of music's luminaries fell dim with the death of your church sister, but also part of your extended family. I would call her a cousin, if I may, the late Whitney Houston.
Yes.
Talk to us a little about the Whitney that you knew, her life and legacy.
Very, 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 very difficult moment. Very difficult. And I remember I was asked earlier, do I remember where I was? Can't help but remember where I was when I got that news that she had passed away. But Whitney had became more of a family to my entire family. You know, my daughter, Maya, was Whitney's godchild, and Bobby Christina was Cece's godchild. And so we were just in twain the moment we met. So a very difficult moment. But even in that moment, I remember driving home from the restaurant when it first was announced, and then my phone rang, and it was Whitney's mom, Sissy. And she was checking on me because she knew what Whitney meant to us and what we meant to Whitney. That was the moment I had to really pull off to the side and just weep. Because here, this devastating loss to Sissy, she was reaching out to us. And at the same time, I knew that God would be faithful to bring us through, because he already proved that with the passing of my brother. I remember when my brother passed, you know, Whitney flew in and drove herself to the church. Oh. And while I'm up talking about my brother Ronald, she's walking through from the back saying, "Family, I'm here, family." Couldn't help but laugh in that moment, because who would have thought she would be flying herself, getting back to the thing, and then walking in just announcing, "I'm here." Yeah. But that's how, and that's who she was. There was so many stories, but one that you know, she would come to Nashville where me and my sisters lived, just to hang out and just to get away from everything. And then she went on tour with us, and we're like, "Whitney, you know, Clive Davis was about to lose his mind, Arista Records." Because it was in the height of, I want to dance with somebody. And she was on tour with us singing background. So this was one of our first major tours, and she went on tour with us singing background, and we got on a bus, right, after one of the concerts. And she said, "I'm hungry. Y'all hungry?" We was like, "Yeah, but the bus driver, he's not going to stop till we get to the next place." She said, "What are you talking about?" And we was like, she said, "Is that what he told y'all?" "Yeah." And she went up to the front of the bus, she put the car, and she said, "Did you tell them that they couldn't stop to eat?" And he said, "Yes." She said, "Y'all hungry?" And we said, "Yes." She said, "The next stop where you see there's a restaurant, you pull up and you go to that thing. You hear me?" And he said, "Yes." So then she shut the car and she said, "Did he make up the beds for y'all?" I said, "No, we have to make up." And she went back up and said, "And make on." He was taking such advantage of us, and then she taught us, this is what they're supposed to do. So, I mean, there's a whole...
Oh, my days.
But that's true.
Oh, man. I can just imagine her giving it to him.
Good. And when we came back, the beds was made up.
Man, you've been doing it yourself all these years.
I was like, "You're kidding me," you know. But that's,
oh man,
that's who she was.
Oh, that's tremendous. I want to take you back to something, an impromptu performance that you gave at Oprah's Legends Ball when you passed the mic with "Changed." Oh, yes. My days.
That wasn't planned, because and again, this is what I love to do. In touring, I took myself out of that 15 years ago. And I've done things behind the scenes. So the Legendaries Ball was something I put together for Oprah. I've done a lot of things for her behind the scenes, putting the music component together to what she was doing. And so so I, if we're going to have legendary people there, then I'm going to have a legendary singer. So I brought the Hawkins family in, and it was absolutely unbelievable. But one of the things, I'm just going to let you in on the thing.
That's all right.
One of the moments that I was sitting there, Oprah added someone to the presentation, and I didn't approve of it. And I was angry at her. I was like, why would you do that? You don't know what you're doing. And she'll tell you she don't know what she's doing when it comes to the music component. But she thought she knew what to do. That person was bombing on the stage. And I saw her walk around because she was like, oh my God. I walk her, and then people said, psst, beep, beep, beep. She's calling my name, and I ignored hearing my name. And finally I turned around, she was like, you got to do something. And I said, oh, you want me to do something about the person you put on the program? He said, shut up. I said, no, you. Ow. Next time, just let me do what I know how to do. And so it was, and so at that moment, I brought the Hawkins, and then that song changed. Which went through. It's one of my favorite songs. And that's when that moment happened. And it was absolutely something that we still talk about, how God came through and he changed a lot of lives on that.
Man, I mean, it was such a spiritual moment, and I still well up when I watch it because I saw the effect that on people.
Oh.
And like you said, that was unrehearsed. That was impromptu in the real sense. So what was going on? What brought it all together?
Oh, that's and to this day, people, I mean, it was one of the moments for me that Sidney Poitier was just in awe. And Oprah called me afterwards because Sidney called her saying, it was just, and she said, Sidney, that was the Holy Ghost. I'm telling you, when you add him to the pie, you're going to get something more than just something.
All right. Our time is really out now, but I'm sure we're going to get some of the Holy Ghost on the 16th of September.
And we're bringing some of that.
We're bringing that as well. Absolutely.